In 2016, the ADAA reported in an article that 16.1 million people suffered from major depression episodes. 6.8 million suffered from anxiety. Now, a lot of these people have received different types of treatments, most of them coming in the forms of pills or things of the sorts. The problem is that over time, these can have negative effects. With these negative effects, people can suffer from withdrawals and different kind of things that can affect them their entire life. Now, most of you might be thinking, Bryce, you seem like a pretty happy guy, and for the most part, you'd be right. Most of my days, I'm a pretty happy guy, but I want to teach you today kind of my secret to my happiness. Growing up, I was the youngest of 4 siblings. I had a sister, 3 brothers, and then there's me, the little baby of the family. With this, I got bullied, picked on a lot. Stuff that happens is you're the youngest in the family. But when I was about 16 years old, all my other siblings moved out, which left me really alone. I kind of got down on myself, especially when we moved from our house in Layton to our house in Mountain Green, and felt really alone. Kind of just suffered and had a lot of negative feelings. Thankfully, one day though, my mom sat me down. This was in about 2017. She looked at me and she said, Bryce, you're going to feel a lot better if you start writing down your feelings. You need to start journaling every day. So I took this, I ran with it. All throughout high school, up into my end of my senior year, I wrote every single day in a journal. I wrote down my feelings. A lot of them were negative. I kind of let out what happened during the day, these different things, these different feelings that I was having. And it helped. The problem was that I still had in my head that I was focusing on these negative feelings. Now, over time, it did help, but it wasn't really the best thing for me. So let's jump track here a little bit. Let's switch our train of thought to a study done by the Berkeley College. This study was done in 2017. They took 300 students. Out of these 300 students, they had 3 separate groups of 100. The first group was told to write down what I had done, their negative feelings every single day. The second group was their control group. This group didn't have to do anything. They had the easy job. The last group of 100 were told to write a letter of gratitude. In this letter, they would write down things that happened throughout the day, things that they were grateful for. The interesting part came when they interviewed the students 4 and 12 weeks after the study. They were amazed with what they saw. Joshua Brown and Joel Wong wrote into their report in 2017 that those who wrote gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health 4 weeks and 12 weeks after their exercise had ended. Gratitude helped these students. Now I want to explain how gratitude helped me a lot in my life. I'll never forget the day in February of 2018, I read these words. You have been assigned to labor in the Uganda Kampala mission. This was part of my LDS mission call, and I was so excited when I opened this letter. A few months later, I was shipped out to Uganda. I was never expecting, I couldn't have never imagined what I got when I showed up there. There's a new people, a new culture, new language. I couldn't understand the people for even 6 months into my mission. Yet they were still speaking English. I was never taught a language. It was ridiculous. That first 6 months, my mission was so stressful, and to add on that, I was actually called to train an elder during my mission. This was another huge task for me that I had no idea what I was doing. I loved it. It was so stressful. And then, unexpectedly, I got reassigned to a new area in Rwanda. So again, I'm switching to a different country. Now this time, again, a new language, a new culture, a new people. This time assigned as a district leader, which I was assigned over 12 missionaries to kind of watch over their temporal and spiritual needs. This was our biggest district in our mission, so it was a little bit of a stressful thing for me. It was great. I loved my time there. But then shortly after, about a year into my mission, I returned back to Uganda, this time as a zone leader. The zone leader, I was in charge of 18 missionaries and their temporal and spiritual well-being, which is a little bit more stressful, having to come up with activities. And this time, I was driving. Uganda has the world's most stressful driving conditions, or at least so I thought. And I had to deal with this every day, driving down muddy dirt road or muddy roads all the time. It was a ridiculous adventure. Then I got another call. I got assigned back up to Ethiopia, my third country. Again, a new language, a new people, new food, and diarrhea for 6 months. That was interesting. This time, I truly met the world's most stressful driving conditions. You couldn't drive a second without someone cutting you off. My head was about to explode. Talk about negative feelings. Until one day I was reading a conference talk. In this talk, Henry B. Eyring talks a lot about how gratitude can help us. These different kind of things. I didn't know about this Berkeley study at the time. Henry B. Eyring, he encourages us to write down things that we're grateful for. And as a missionary, ways that we'd seen the Lord's hand in our life. And I took this challenge, added it to my mother's challenge to start journaling. So every night I would go home, I would write in my journal things that I was grateful for. I didn't know the effect that this would have on me long term. In his talk, Henry B. Eyring said, this was in 2007, he said, I wrote down a few lines every day for years. I never missed a day no matter how tired I was or how early I'd have to start the next day. I took this to heart. I did it. I did it religiously. I never truly expected, or never truly realized the effect that this would have on me long term. So like those students, I too had great effects in the long term. But now it's your turn. I want to give this challenge to you. A lot of people have negative feelings, negative emotions. They write them down. Some of them do, some of them don't. You can start there if you want. But I'd encourage something different. To write down every single day experiences that you have, things that you're grateful for. To write them down in your journal. To write them in a letter. We have a study, Berkeley shows that it's going to improve your life. I'm a living witness and a testament to that it will benefit your life in the long term. You'll have better mental health, better success. So, in the end, if someone were to ask me, Bryce, what is the cure to depression? What's the cure to anxiety? The cure is gratitude.
Oh.